To begin the paper bag study, again I'm working in a very general fashion. I see that the bag is pretty much cut into two geometric forms. There's a triangular prism shape that is the bottom fourth of the bag, and then there is a rectangular block or a rectangular prism that defines the upper 3/4 of the object. Very quickly though, I'm going to go ahead and sketch in the cube that the bag is sitting on. That way I can more accurately place this object. It's a little more complex than previous studies, and I want to make sure I get things accurate before I get too involved in the drawing. So having this cube sketched in first helps. This is a wonderful exercise for putting into practice all of the fundamentals in this tutorial. It teaches discipline with line. It teaches how to stay focused on values, contours. Everything really comes together in this project in a nice way. So here I'm going to begin by establishing the lower triangular prism shape, and then building the bag's basic general form from this point. Here you can see the prism shape, and now I'm moving on into the upper block. Doing some site measurements to keep proper proportion. I can now begin to break the block down into major creases in the bag, finding where some of the major planes exist, as well as the opening of the bag. And once that basic line drawing is established, then I can get more specific with the contours of the bag, working out the various crumples and wrinkles and creases in the surface. What's going to be really important from this point, once major areas are defined, is to accurately render the surface of the bag. And to do that requires an understanding that every line that you make must connect to another line, so that you're really capturing the shapes of all of the different planes that exist. Each crease, each crumple in the bag forms a new plane, and so all of your lines have to come together and connect so you get those shapes. And then once the entire bag is rendered in line, then you can begin the process of adding the values and shading. Here I'm defining some of those major planes by having my lines connect one to another. As I'm considering the shading process, I'm keeping in mind what parts of the bag are turning towards the light source, what parts of the bag are turning away from the light source, and making sure that consistency through value is maintained so the object stays harmonious and the three-dimensional illusion of the bag stays intact. As always, I'm going to darken the negative space to draw the object forward. Adding the cast shadow to relate the object to its surface. Now I'm going to begin shading the major shapes, putting in the darkest values first. I want to begin with the opening of the bag, really defining that edge so it feels like the bag is open. Now I'm wanting to begin working on the left side of the bag, which is the side most in shadow, furthest away from the light source. So I'm going to begin by laying in some of the major shadows. making sure that the contours of the bag are well defined, that the bag is becoming distinguished in its surface. Using the eraser as a drawing tool. Now I can begin working on the right side of the bag, the side that's nearest the light source, and to start to think about the turning of that surface, all of the ins and outs, and the way the planes react. Here I'm working the full grayscale to find the accurate values that make the bag begin to feel three-dimensional. At this point, it's just a matter of focusing on each of the areas of the bag to make sure contours are accurate, values are accurate, to complete the study.